Hey guys, quickly before the video starts, make sure to hit me up on Discord for information regarding my coaching to take your Valorant skill to the next level. Enjoy the video guys, and see you in the next one. Hey guys, in today's video I'm going to be talking to you about everything related to counter-strafing, right? So I've made a few videos in the past about counter-strafing, and you guys have left me a lot of questions on those, so I'm going to be answering a couple of those. And I'm also going to be talking about why counter-strafing is so important, and how to counter-strafe unpredictably to kind of throw your opponents off, okay? Without further ado, let's go ahead and get right into it. Right, counter-strafing is when you use A and D to swap up your movement between taking shots, right? So this actually makes it much harder for enemies to hit you, especially when you do it correctly, whenever you do it unpredictably, right? So now I want to take just a quick second to explain what I mean by counter-strafing unpredictably, right? So first, I want you guys to make sure you guys actually understand that a couple of the basic mechanics that are associated with a counter-strafing. So if you guys did not know, you can actually run so far without making a footstep. So right now I'm not holding shift, and you see I'm actually running and I don't make noise until I run so far, right? So you see you can actually go pretty far before you make a footstep, and eventually you'll kind of learn this distance. You see, right? So why is this important? This is important because you can run and not make noise. So you can move quickly and quietly while you're peeking. And a lot of low rank players don't understand that you can do this. They just don't know that you can do this. And so it's really important, in my opinion, to kind of learn to do this before we talk about counter-strafing. So go into the range, get comfortable kind of moving without making footsteps, because this is going to be really important whenever you want to maintain your silence, but you also want to get ready to take a fight. You want to kind of strafe around. So you see I'm purposely making a footstep here just so you guys can see how far you can actually go. And then I'm now not making footsteps because I want you guys to see what this looks like quickly and quietly, right? So now we can go ahead and get into the counter-strafing section, and this is going to be basically talking about why, or how can you be unpredictable whenever you counter-strafe, right? Because a lot of newer players, whenever they want to counter-strafe, they kind of just do the same movements over and over and over again, and they don't realize that it's predictable, right? And so what I mean by this is if you always counter-strafe to the left first, and then to the right, and you're constantly going like this, or if you're really going like really tiny, like this is not counter-strafing, okay? This is just brain dead. I hate to break it to you guys, but whenever we counter-strafe, we don't want to just go back and forth. This is a really good start though, don't get me wrong. Like going back and forth like this, especially if you're doing it silently, is really good. But we want to we want to go different distances. Sometimes we might want to go short to the left, long to the right, long to the left, short to the right, right? You guys understand what I mean? So different distances to the left and to the right. And also you might go like twice to the left or twice to the right, right? So this might not seem like counter-strafing, but really the whole purpose of counter-strafing in the first place is just throw off your enemy's aim and to make it harder for them to hit you, right? That's kind of what we talked about. So make sure that you're kind of thinking in your head, like, how could I combine different versions of these? Okay, so should I go, one short to left and then one long, or should I swap it up? Should I do something the enemy's really not going to expect? But overall, just make sure that you're not doing the same strafe every time. So make sure you're not just going like this every time, and you never throw in like a long strafe or a shorter strafe. Make sure that you understand this, okay? So the main question you guys asked me on my previous counter-strafe videos is, should I let go or press the opposite key, right? So by key, I mean, should I let go or should I let go or press the opposite A or D key, right? So if I'm going to the right and holding D, should you press A or should you let go, right? So, I've said this a bunch of times, and it does not matter, okay? I will explain what I do, and that is, if I'm holding D, I let go before I continue strafing. I know people that do let go, but to me, I just don't do that because that's not built into my muscle memory. People have argued that one is better than the other, but in my opinion, no, it's not the case, right? If one of these is better than the other, it's not going to matter, especially if you're newer to learning counter-strafing, especially if you're not in the pro scene, especially if you're not at a high level of play, right? It's just not going to matter, okay? So just do whatever feels most comfortable to you. So again, letting go would just be letting go of D key here. If you want to hit the opposite button, instead of, while you're holding D, you're going to hit A and then let go of D, right? So if I'm holding A, I hit D and then let go of A. Hit D, hit A, let go of D, right? If I'm going to do the let go method, I'm going to hit D, let go of D, then hit A. Hold A, let go of A, then hit D. So, right, so it's kind of up to you again, right? A lot of people argue about this, but you guys can argue about it in the comment section. In my opinion, it does not matter. If you want to do a little test and show me that it's one method is 3 milliseconds quicker than the other, that's great, but honestly, I don't think it matters. That's my take. You guys might disagree, but most of you will probably understand this. So, Unbind Crouch to get better at counter-strafing quicker, okay? So basically, I think so. let me go and keep reading this, right? So crouching in gunfights consistently is like the opposite of counter-strafing, right? So really, if you're in the habit of crouching a lot, so let me actually bound my crouch because I don't have it bound right now. So if you're in the habit of crouching a lot, this is going to make it a lot harder for you to learn to counter-strafe, right? Because if you're trying to strafe and you're trying to crouch, this is not good. You can't really combine these two, because whenever you crouch and you try to strafe, you go a lot slower. And also, crouching is like the opposite of counter-strafing, right? Because if you really think about it, what is the purpose of counter-strafing? The purpose of counter-strafing is to allow you to move kind of like nimble, move quickly, right? While trying to avoid getting shot. What does crouching do when you fight? So I'm not saying that you should never crouch during gunfights, because sometimes there are actually good scenarios where you should do that. But if you have a habit like ingrained in your brain, like in your muscle memory, to crouch every time you take a gunfight, it's not going to be good for you, okay? So this is because you move slower, and you're making your headshot level smaller. You're making yourself, like, you know, basically just easier to shoot. And this is why I say it's the opposite of strafing, of counter-strafing, right? So in my opinion, this is going to help you improve at counter-strafing a lot quicker if you unbind crouch, okay? So just a little tip, you don't have to do this. If you don't have a bad habit of crouching a lot, then it's especially not that important for you, but something to consider, because I know a lot of people do have that problem. So the last tip that I have for you guys is playing Deathmatch to build counter-strafing muscle memory, right? So if you guys are new to Valorant, new to kind of learning to counter-strafe, or to kind of outplay opponents with your kind of movement, then Deathmatch is going to be your best friend, okay? So outplay opponents with counter-strafing, but don't become predictable. Again, right? If I'm going into Deathmatch, I'm not going to like be doing the same strafe every single time. Like, and I'm also not going to counter-strafe every single time I see someone, okay? I'm only going to counter-strafe if I see them looking at me, or if I miss a shot, right? Those are like the main two scenarios where I'm going to actually start counter-strafing. If someone's right here, and I can just take a shot on them before, then I'm not gonna, like, you notice I shoot, but then I strafe, right? I'm not gonna start strafing before I shoot. And if I see someone that's not looking at me, I'm just gonna shoot them and kill them. I'm not gonna strafe. Like, what's the point of strafing if someone isn't even looking at you, if someone doesn't even realize that you're there yet, right? So hopefully that makes sense. But Deathmatch is gonna be your best friend. And like I said, don't become predictable. So again, this is extra important. So like whenever you're in Deathmatch, make sure, you know, you're really thinking like, okay, am I going to strafe twice to the right? Am I going to strafe a little bit to the left? Am I going to strafe long to left, long to the right, short, right? Try to swap it up, right? Don't just do the same thing. People in Deathmatch will pick up on this. People in comp that you play against will pick up on this. And it's going to make counter-strafing kind of counterintuitive, right? Because, you know, the goal of counter-strafing is to make yourself harder to hit, not more predictable. So know when to swap it up. And basically, guys, that's all that I have for you. If you guys have any questions, you know, feel free to let me know down in the comments below. But one last thing, I'm going to be posting a little less frequently just because school has started back up again. I have a lot of work to do. I'm writing a 20-page thesis. I'm already halfway done, but, you know, I have other work to do as well. So hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. You know, leave a comment, and, you know, much love, guys. Peace.